Sick.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the SAKUGACAST, the Sakuga Builds channel podcast.
Welcome.
I'm Daniel Ewa, and this is my co-host,
Methuselah, which I don't actually like saying Methuselah. It's weird. I don't even like saying it. Yeah. I like when people call me Methuselah, but I don't like saying Methuselah.
Well, you just call it by our normal names, Daniel and Matthew, or Matt, if that's easier.
Matt.
Do you like that better?
Let's just skip the crap. What is your favorite minifigure this week?
My favorite minifigure of the week. Well, when we put out the video on talking about our favorite minifigs, that kind of influenced the ones I was thinking about on my mind. As far as ones like what I would choose to be my actual favorite minifigure of the week, I'd have to say I don't know. Do you have one already?
Yeah, I have it with me right now. It is. I'll hold it up. From the Galaxy Squad Mother Queen Bug set. You know which one I'm referring to. It's has these antennae that are molded on the head, and it just has awesome head mold and has cool body printing. That was on top of my mind because I rebuilt that set, the big crawler, the hive crawler. Is that what it's called? The hive crawler?
Yeah.
I rebuilt that, and it's just such a good build, and I wish that they did these nowadays they do with Monkey Kid, actually, so I can't even say that because they do have these big villainous builds with Demon Bull King, Bone Demon, Spider Queen. And you were saying the Spider Queen is a worse version of the hive crawler because it doesn't actually crawl.
That'll be my minifigure of the week, the Spider Queen, because I was
showing
it off yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, the Spider Queen base, it has more functions. I feel like it has more playability, but it didn't really nail down the crawling function all that well.
Well, it doesn't. That's the thing, is that it doesn't crawl. It has legs, 4 of which don't even move, 2 of which you can manually move up and down and snap them into position, and then the 2 front ones have the only cool feature where you use the flag banner to move them up and down independently, which works really well, but it doesn't even compare to like a crawling function of like the hive crawler.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the Spider Queen's cool because the whole back opens up and there's a lot of play value there, but the hive crawler is just super fun to crawl and launch stuff. But that's the one that's on my mind. I saw this today, or you shared it with me. I'll pull it up. Credit to 1414 Falcon fan for posting this, but there's the image of that came out that shows like all the minifigures from this wave. All the minifigures are like grouped together, and it's like a closer look at Moff Gideon here, and I think he looks pretty good. I feel like a lot of people had complaints about the Darksaber being not looking like the Darksaber, but I'm not too mad about that. It kind of would have been cool to have a different piece for that. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think especially the hair piece, I can't think of a better one that would have fit, and generally he looks great. Yesterday, Matt and I went to a fair, and at the fair there was a booth, several booths actually, selling bootleg or custom minifigs, and it was very interesting to see. I hadn't really seen something like that at a fair before, and there were tons of Star Wars figures, Marvel figures, Venom big figs, and so for us it was so easy to see every single one of these figures and be like, no, that's not accurate, that's not real, or like Sith Old Republic troopers that were going for $5, whereas on Bricklink they're like way more than that. So But it was eye-opening because of the variety of things that they had and the types of prints they were able to achieve. Like, most of these figures had tons of printing all over the legs, sides of the legs, arms, everywhere. They were so over the top. And $5 for these minifigs. Granted, they weren't real Lego. I don't know how nice the plastic quality was or stuff like that. But just seeing those made by some local business or out of someone's garage, it's eye-opening to see, like, wait a second, so these guys can do it, how come Lego can't, or what doesn't want to, you know? Did you feel like that?
Would you change anything about this figure? You think it's not detailed enough?
No, I wouldn't say that, but for instance, they had some fake Moff Gideons and fake Bo-Katans there with dark sabers where the hilt actually was shaped like a dark saber hilt, where it was more rectangular. The blade was actually the angled, jagged blade, and when you see that, it's like, okay, that's a dark saber. When you see this, it's like, it's the lightsaber from what? We've had that mold from 1999 or something.
Yeah, it looks kind of like, it almost looks a little outdated to me, because we had this same cylinder for so long. It looks kind of retro in a way. But yeah, I remember they had the custom Darksaber molds at that bootleg shop at the fair, and it was pretty convincing. But I'm not mad about this at all. Like, this person said, Lego's doing so much for Star Wars Summer, and people are still complaining about lightsaber. Yeah, that's just nitpicking. But other than that, I think the figure looks great. It's just cool just to have him. But
it's great that we're getting any content, like more Mandalorian figures content, Bad Batch and Clone Wars, and these non-original trilogy sets, and that Lego even feels comfortable doing those at this point. Okay, they're not going to do exclusive molds for a lot of the stuff. Maybe for some of the armor pieces and Bad Batch helmets they would, but like, okay, a Darksaber mold, no, they're not going to dive into that. But
yeah, I mean, I wonder if it was just worth it for them to do it or not, to make the whole mold, because when is the Darksaber going to come up again on another set? Like
Mando season 3.
You know what? That's a good point. Oh yeah, it probably will be in Mando season 3. I think about that.
Like the main thing about Mando season 3.
Fennec Shand has more. She has leg printing and arm printing, unlike Moff Gideon. But I feel like Moff Gideon, his suit's all black in the show anyway. But I think the arm printing looks cool. I wonder if there's a gap in between her orange and black, or if it's just closed off. I don't know, but I think she looks cool, and I've never seen this gun.
Really? That looks like some of those old Clone Wars guns that they would use for some of the clones. That long kind of blaster rifle.
Yeah, the long one, but look at the end of the gun here. It has like some cylinder type thing on it.
Could be an add-on piece. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it is something new.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe it's a piece on it. But I think she looks cool. I don't love that character all too much. Add her to Mandalorian, then add her to the Bad Batch, stretch it thin, TV verse character.
The fact that they took this TV verse character and made such a nice figure with the custom helmet and everything, that's great, especially because she's going to be in 3 different Disney Plus Star Wars series: Bad Batch, Mandalorian, and the Book of Boba Fett. So true. What was once a niche character is also it's a common thing. So
now she's an OG now, automatically. And this is a kind of a weird angle of the Dark Trooper, but his helmet looks awesome, and his shoulders look awesome. It kind of looks like the Wrecker shoulder pieces. I don't know.
Be the same one. Yeah.
But yeah, he's cool, and I wish there was at least 2 of them, but it's all good. But yeah, those just barely came out, and I'm very excited. And I'm not gonna nitpick too much, but yeah, Darksaber kind of would have been nice, just because it looks different. It looks different than other lightsabers in the show, Like,
very different. Yeah.
Its nature is different, but It's all good. I'm not too picky.
I think that goes to back to a larger discussion on when Lego approximates things into their format, into their scale, in order to take the Darksaber and apply the Lego filter onto it. Okay, that makes sense to have just a black lightsaber. Or with a lot of the other stuff, some of the Bad Batch helmets, it's like, okay, we just put the Lego filter on it. The Wrecker helmet could work, printed onto this existing mold. This thing could work on this other thing. So I think there are a lot of things in Marvel as well where there are just the existing format and quality control standards, everything that they have, that you kind of have to shove existing like IP designs into in order for it to fit in the Lego universe,
But here's what I don't get, because they'll make a whole new mold for like every CMF character. They'll make Captain Hook's hat, like freaking all sorts of Ursula's legs. But when it's a set like this, it doesn't get that same treatment. Maybe it's a cost thing. I don't know, but some people they love Moff Gideon more than they love the Disney characters. So it will be nice to get that same kind of love. But
I wish I understood the economics of that, because you're exactly right. The CMFs have tons of crazy new and unique molds that never get reused again in a lot of cases, but you don't see that. I think it's just because maybe they're $5 minifigs.
Yeah, so they could justify the price more, because with the blind bags, they make a lot of money because you have to keep buying them to get the ones you want. So they could justify a whole new thing where, I don't know the logistics of it, but it's like I'm a Star Wars and Marvel type guy, so it would be nice to get that kind of love with those minifigures. But we do have the Marvel CMF coming.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm super duper hyped. I think the main ones, though, they're rumored, but I think it's basically confirmed at this rate. I think the ones I'm most excited for are Zombie Captain America, White Vision, Scarlet Witch. I think variant Loki will be kind of cool too. But
the version from the show, right? The TVA version.
Yeah, the TVA variant Loki. All the whole CMF is probably all the Disney Plus series. So it's going to be the WandaVision, Scarlet Witch, the White Vision from WandaVision, and all the What If characters, and Lady Loki, which will probably show up in the Loki TV show. I saw her in the trailers a little bit, but she's going to be super cool too. But we'll get some more detailed figures. I wish they would have done a regular Marvel CMF first, with just kind of more of the basic things from the MCU to get more detail on those figures, but it's all good.
Well, I think, as far as what I've heard, don't quote me on this, what I've heard is that the superhero teams share a budget, the DC and Marvel, so a lot of the new molds and the new figures and sets and everything, it's split between the DC and the Marvel teams. And so I feel like maybe because of that, the Marvel sets really don't get a lot of, they do get love, but they don't get love on the same level of quality as Ninjago, for instance, as Monkey Kid. If you compare some of those sets, just the sheer quality and the amount of new molds and prints and stuff like that, it's hard because I don't know, they just expect that Marvel. I know it doesn't seem very fair. Maybe they just expect, because it's Spider-Man, you're gonna buy the Spider-Man buggy, so that's it. You don't have to make a Prince Kalmar purple squid guy crazy stuff or something like that.
Stop using the IP to carry the sales and make passable sets. It's like, another Spider-Man mech, another Spider-Man buggy.
But you keep buying those.
Yes, I will, but show some love and show some respect for the legendary Spider-Man, for example. And they did with the Daily Bugle. That's the kind of thing. And also, there's also the factor of, you need lower price point sets for the non-adults, kids. etc. So I won't be mad at that. But like, show some respect for Spider-Man a little bit. And there's a lot of good Spider-Man sets. Venomsaurus Rex is one of my favorites, and they always include cool figures: Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Pig, Spider-Gwen. They always include that in the lower price point sets as well. But let's just try to push our creativity a little bit more here instead of having another Spider-Jet, Spider-Mech, Spider-Buggy, Spider-Trike. Please. Yeah, that was my Spider-Man rant.
Yeah, well, with a theme like that with Spider-Man, where it's all about the characters, you know, I feel like with most superhero things, it's not about the locations or the vehicles or whatever as much as it is about the characters and their personalities and their struggles and everything like that. So prioritizing figures would be what I would do in that case, right? You'd want to prioritize, like, people care about Spider-Man. You want to make the Spider-Man figure the absolute best it could possibly be. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like whatever that ends up looking like, and maybe that's what their goal is right now. But at the same time, like, we want to have vehicles and bigger sets for people to buy too. So let's just.
Well, you have to have something to build, right? Because that's why there's so many Spider side builds. And so when you're thinking about trying to do like comic accurate stuff, okay, what could be something buildable? So you do Doc Ock's mech, which is a cool idea, but then you also have to have Spider-Man's mech as well, or else you'll just have the Spider-Man figure, and that's all you have to oppose him. So I see where they're coming from, but it really is all about the figures. I mean, the characters. That's why I think the Web Warriors Bridge and Daily Bugle are the best, because it provides a cool location, but just packs in unique figures and characters. But yeah, show some love. Like, I got some Spider-Man sets have non-dual molded legs. Some do have the dual molded legs. Some have the arm printing. Some some don't. Like, with these characters, it's all about that, even for the smaller sets. So we can start on a whole Spider-Man tangent.
No, I mean, Spider-Man is such a good example of all of this, because there are quite a few Spider-Man sets out right now, so it's easy to look at that. And there are so many cool characters and figures in the Spider-Man line, among the villains, among the protagonists. But it goes back to what we were saying earlier of trying to fit things into the Lego mold. If you have all of these crazy different characters, Spider-Man is very different from, like, Doc Ock, very different from Electro, whatever. But they all have to fit within the minifigure size and standard, and that's great. I love that. You know, I love minifig scale stuff, and I don't want them to change that. But you have to do something a little extra to really set these characters apart. And maybe this is why I'm very excited for the Marvel CMF, because it is a CMF. The figures can get all the spotlight and all the love, and they can really have their chance to shine on their own, individual from each other.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. The only issue, my main issue, I'm super excited for the CMF, but it's a bunch of what if characters. So we're getting I'm assuming it'll be a super detailed, zombie Captain America and Captain Britain, Peggy Carter, but we never really got that kind of regular Captain America in the first place. That's my only issue. But that's why I'm excited for Scarlet Witch, because it's not a what if character. It's the actual Scarlet Witch. And then you have the Loki, like Lady Loki. That's another twisty alternate reality type thing. And variant Loki, and just in the trench coat, the prisoner outfit. We never really got a regular Loki with that kind of detail either. So that's my main issue, but I'm gonna be a sucker for it, and I'm super excited for it. And I just saw Thanos Gamora was rumored, and Steve Rogers Spider-Man. So I don't know if those will be part of the CMF or part of different what if sets. I really don't know, but yeah.
It is it's so interesting. Like they're doing the Iron Man Hulkbuster what if version, like Sakari and Hulkbuster. Like they're suddenly so interested in doing these figures from what if they're going to be in one episode, maybe two, I don't know, but like these one-off characters and give them so much attention, or the what if Hulkbuster. And yet some of the other stuff from the movies we've never seen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we've never even got a Whiplash minifigure from Iron Man 2. Do you know?
I don't know. Maybe there was an Iron Man 2 set. Maybe. I don't think so, but yeah.
But like, I guess they want to be on what's relevant now, which I get. Like, oh, what if stuff would be cool and good for kids, right? It's animated, sure. Not that animated is only for kids, but trying to capitalize on that makes sense. It's just an interesting strategy. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're going so hard on the what if. It's probably going to be a good series, but like, I mean, they have done like a lot of Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man stuff previously. I don't know if the figures have been that crazy detailed. Like, I'm looking at my Vision from Age of Ultron, and he's detailed and he's really accurate. So I'm interested to compare that Vision to the CMF White Vision and see if there's a big difference in the detailing. But I'm excited regardless, and anything Marvel is cool for me. And some of the Infinity Saga sets are going to be pretty cool. A few of them. Black Panther Dragon Flyer comes with Shuri, Black Panther. Those figures look pretty good. And yeah, I just looked up. I don't think there's a Whiplash minifigure. I do think he was in Lego Marvel Superheroes, but he never got a set.
Right, okay.
But yeah, with like the Infinity Saga, they didn't explore things they haven't done yet, like a Whiplash minifigure or a. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I had such high hopes for the Infinity Saga wave because of seeing and collecting a lot of what Ninjago Legacy has done, where they take old existing designs, and unless it's a 4+ set, they go crazy and make it so much more detailed and so much more interactive in a lot of cases, really filling out different locations like the monastery or the Zane's Titan mech as a example of a vehicle they really fleshed out better. And so I thought that the Infinity Saga sets would get a similar treatment, but from what I can tell, it's like the Avengers, the Endgame final battle compound, what I don't know exactly, it's one of those, string in one of those words, but it's like a worse or less substantial build than the original Avengers compound battle that we got in 2019. So I don't get that. Like, if you're going to make these legacy inspired sets, take it to the nth degree, really polish it up. People wanted, the kind of original version. They could have got that already. With exceptions being like the Black Panther Dragon Flyer and stuff like that, which are totally brand new. That's really cool. Just a little frustrating.
I feel like this, I'll pull it up. It has the same kind of quality as the movie sets that come out during the movie, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, that's why I was so excited for Infinity Saga. If you have the time to look back on it and fully flesh it out, then we wouldn't just have Chitauri. And I'm looking at this.
Aren't even as far. They're not even in Endgame, right? The villain mobs are just the Outriders from Infinity War, just reused. I'm pretty sure.
Outriders, yeah. But I think there is do you remember the big Chitauri sky worm dragons? They're in the final battle too. So
right,
there might have been Chitauri, but they're not that significant.
Right. Yeah.
And they're in like 3 of the Infinity Saga sets is Chitauri. And this is the same Black Panther figure as the Dragon Flyer and Scarlet Witch. She looks kind of derpy right here. I'm not a fan of this one, unfortunately. Like, when you hear the name Avengers Endgame Final Battle, Lego. When I heard that name, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cool. But we got freaking Big Fig Thanos is so ugly, and
You
I
love
don't
big
know.
figs. Come on.
All big figs are ugly, but I don't see like one reason why I would want this. Like the Captain America cowl, maybe Fat Thor, because the Iron Man. There's a good endgame Iron Man figure in the Sanctuary too, and that comes with minifigure Thanos, which I would much rather have. But this one's just kills me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Especially for you, because as a huge, Lego Marvel fan, being able to relive some of those big things. And that's why the Daily Bugle is such a breath of fresh air, I think, for a lot of Marvel fans. You included, and I love it too. I'm not a Lego Marvel collector like you, but I can see how that would be something that's just like finally.
It's like I feel like it's like giving the respect to Spider-Man, if that makes sense, and the Spider-Man universe, because Spider-Man's so iconic. He's the face of Marvel. He's the second most iconic superhero. I think like Superman then Spider-Man, something like that. But it's like giving him the respect he deserves, I guess. And I guess with a bigger budget set, a higher price point, you can flesh it out. But still, at the Avengers Endgame Final Battle, you could have it at a lower price point and make it, cheaper, more accessible, but still could have made it cooler, I think. Just my opinion.
Yeah, especially because the Avengers compound has been in like 4 or 5 movies at this point, so it's a generally very recognizable design with the angled windows and everything, and you could have that be a key location, especially since it's in Endgame, and the huge battle takes place there with all the figures, because like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, everyone is here, and so imagine that if you have $150 set like that or something. Maybe not at the scale of Daily Bugle, but you have at least a compound build and just a ton of figures like Rescue or what are some of the other cool ones from the final battle?
Everybody's there. Rescue, Wasp,
Falcon,
Ant-Man,
yeah,
the Black Order's back there in the Endgame battle.
Yeah.
Black Order would have been dope. Those big that would have been a fun thing to build. Those big creatures they introduced, those big aliens that they ripped the neck braces off.
That's right.
Yeah. More Outriders. We did get Outrider sets in the Infinity War movies. Some Outrider minifigures. But
or like the Chitauri worms. Those would be so cool as a buildable creature of some sort. Wow.
Yeah. See, that would be a higher budget thing. But yeah, that's when you're thinking of stuff that could have potential to build. Yeah, the big Chitauri worms, those alien creatures.
Yeah.
I would say the Black Order. They've done the Black Order minifigures. They didn't look the greatest. And so I don't know about that. But
I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years from now, people who grew up watching Endgame and stuff like that, they will try to mine the nostalgia up by making super, nostalgic retro builds like those Chitauri space worms or the Endgame final battle and really do it the justice that it would get. Kind of like how they keep doing this like 1989 or 1960s Batman stuff now as like these crazy, beautifully detailed D2C sets. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more stuff like that from Marvel as we go on and it becomes a nostalgic thing.
Yeah, it's not like what Infinity War and Endgame were just like the biggest movies of all time. It's not like, they had the biggest box office releases of all time. Yeah. So, maybe we could have put a little more effort into that, but it's whatever. That's the main issue with like we were talking about. It's probably a topic for a different video, how the whole hobby of Lego revolves around one company, so that's why there's so many nitpicking and whining, because there's only one company in control of it. But we could save that for another video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the Marvel CMF is awesome. Infinity Saga sets
We'll
are
wait to
not.
see. Yeah, I'm excited to see the official figure reveals to see if it lives up to the hype, because like the Infinity Saga sets, when we saw the set names and piece counts and whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be crazy. And then we get the sets, like, okay, cool.
I guess
So
collectible minifigures just have a certain record now of having full
yeah,
more detail and everything.
imagine if like more figures got the treatment like the Lego video figures received. Oh, I love those. I have most of them, and they're amazing. But
Yeah, they're super.
it is
cool.
interesting. Yeah,
They're super cool.
I would love to talk to like a design manager sometime at Lego who decides where's the budget going to go. Are we going to put it into the figures for this theme, or are we going to put it more into the really cool playable sets? Feels like Ninjago, they do both, or Monkey. Monkey Kid, they just care about the villain figures mostly, but that's besides the point. That'd be so interesting, right? Like to talk to whoever manages superheroes.
Yeah, that'd be cool
What
to
is
get in
your
contact
thinking,
with someone
please?
and like talk, ask them all these questions that we have. Like where's the budget for the Darksaber blade and hilt, and where's the budget for Scarlet Witch to not look derpy.
Because it's like, I doubt it's the designers or graphic designers' fault, because we've seen most of the people who have designed these Marvel sets, we've seen other stuff they've done, and it's amazing. And so it's like, well, okay, there are other things at play here than just the designer just didn't have enough time to,
Why are the movie sets always lacking? Why are the Marvel movie sets always like lackluster, in my opinion?
What was the most recent? Oh, I guess Black Widow would be the most recent set to come out.
Yeah. I really don't know why.
The Eternals ones look kind of cool, honestly. Even though I haven't seen Eternals yet, those look promising.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's because it's an adaptation of an adaptation, whereas
Yeah.
a comic book set like the Daily Bugle, it's not really like it's more like comic book type set. It's just an adaptation of the comics. Whereas when you're doing it for the movies are already an adaptation of the comics, and the Legos have to adapt that into Lego format. So you have Proxima Midnight and Ebony Maw, who are already changed to be MCU-ified and be more like realistic, quote unquote, and then you transform that into minifigure format, and it might turn out weird. Maybe that's why.
That's a really good point. And actually, have you seen the designer video for the Daily Bugle yet? That just came out like yesterday. It's really interesting because the Mark Stafford, the designer, talks about that problem where we've seen the Daily Bugle in a ton of movies and we've seen it in the comics, but he said that in every appearance it's never looked the same.
Right.
And so he tried to come up with something that had a universally, like, it had the general principles of what the Daily Bugle would look like for a lot of people, and try to interpret that. And I think that's very interesting, and maybe that's also an issue for a lot of the people who make the movie sets. It's like they're trying to base it off the movie but also comics. I don't know, it seems like if you have a movie vehicle or something, or building, or figure, you can just be like, all right, we're gonna go 100% all in on making it look like how it does in the movie. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. The best Spider-Man sets for me have been the not movie ones, or just Marvel in general. My favorite sets have been the non-movie ones.
And they tend to have a lot more fun with the comic-based ones, for sure.
Yeah. And some sets are actually like a fusion. They do like like for example, the Mysterio that comes in the Spider-Man monster truck. He comes with 2 drones that look like Far From Home. So they and like the Vulture. There's one Vulture minifigure where it's kind of a fusion of. It's not quite the Homecoming look, but he has robotic wings like Homecoming. So it's like a mix of the comic and MCU. But those are even fun too. They just do whatever they want. That's why comic books work so well for movies and Legos, because they're adaptations within themselves. So you can kind of do what you want whilst it being recognizable.
I feel like that's way more doable in Marvel than in Star Wars, because you have way more flexibility in Marvel to just kind of, since it's a mythology, and there have been so many reboots, adaptations, variations over the decades at this point, that you can kind of just do whatever, as long as you stick to the general idea of, okay, this is what a vulture kind of looks like. Okay, yeah, in some appearance he has robot wings, some appearance he's whatever, but generally he's green, generally he's kind of an old guy. So you can kind of have that freedom to do what you want, as a designer, to do what you want with that. With Star Wars, though, I feel like that's a lot harder to do. You have to be way more faithful, because there are a lot of people who, like, they need it to be 100% accurate to how it appears on screen.
Yeah.
And Ninjago, it's kind of the same way with a lot of people who are like, if it's not like the movie or the shows, the seasons of the show, then it's not accurate at all. Which, yeah, that's a kind of a whole other discussion maybe. But
that's the bad thing with Ninjago, is you have the attachment because of the show, but because of the show, if people want to think about it a certain way, and it loses like the original action theme type magic, where they can introduce whatever in the sets or do what they want. But since it's tied to a show now, it needs to be accurate. Or some people will be mad, like, that guy wasn't in the show, the Tiki Islander, that's not accurate. He never had that katana or whatever. I don't watch Ninjago's show, so I really don't know, but like, I think of Ninjago as an original action theme, so when you're saying things aren't quote-unquote accurate, it just seems weird to me.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. So, and you don't see that when it comes to the Marvel sets, like the Spider-Man Venomsaurus Rex. You're like, okay, this is an awesome set. Like, oh, it's Venom if you use a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And you're not like, is this faithful? Like, is this accurate? It's just, you don't even have to have that kind of discussion in that case, which is nice with the Marvel stuff for sure.
Yeah, 'cause, like, Venomsaurus Rex comes with Peter Porker and just like, but no one's really like, wait, why is Peter Porker there? I'm just happy that, oh, we get that minifigure and we get that. So that's the magic of the comic sets, is you can bring in what you want and adapt how you will. Whereas the movies have been adapted, and now they're just trying to make it accurate to that. So maybe that provides restrictions for the movie sets.
Exactly.
But yeah.
My goodness. That's great though. The fact that we have so much to talk about here with all this. It's exciting. And I think Lego's going in very exciting directions with Star Wars, with Marvel, and especially with the figures. The Star Wars figures coming out this summer are just knockouts, and the Marvel figures coming out also promising to be very exciting. So I guess should we end with the news item of the week, the randomest news item?
We'll end with the worst news of today. Credit to 1414 Falcon fan, you're the best.
Yes.
But as soon as I saw the front of this shoe, I'm like, oh my, it's Adidas. Well, it couldn't be anything else because of their deals or whatever, but just why? Wait, does that have actual laces in it? Oh my.
Yeah, it looks like and you can tell on the fine print at the bottom, it does say copyright Adidas, copyright Lego, so it is confirmed to be an Adidas Lego collab, continuing their years-long trend now.
Tell Adidas, stop with the cheap collabs. Okay. I've seen actually some like third-party Legos aren't official that you could order to build like an Air Max 97, a Nike Air Max 97. You could build your own shoe. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Wow. So maybe this is cool for some people that love Adidas Stan Smith, whatever the crap, Ultra Boost crap.
Well, you need to preface this by saying like you're a sneakerhead. You know, but like what's your preference as far as sneakers go on the ones you collect?
I'm not like a crazy sneakerhead, but I really only mess with Nike, and that's really it. And it's biased, but I just think Nike's the best. So when I see Adidas, I kind of associate it with trash. But to each their own. So take that with a grain of salt. Take it with an ocean of salt. Take it with a mountain of salt, because you could love Adidas or whatever, but I think Adidas is just trash in comparison. Like imagine a Nike Lego collab would be so crazy, because Nike's got the best in basketball, streetwear. I would say soccer, not soccer, but basically everything else. Tennis has monopolies, and it's just so diverse, and they're always innovating with new technologies. Nike always is. So that would be hype for me. But if you want to go build an Adidas shoe and have that on display, like, oh, that's super hype, then go ahead, be my guest.
Oh, the mic drop, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I used to wear Adidas, but you kind of converted me to Nikes. So I am really not interested in this, but it's so bizarre, this trend, this like oil well, this oil deposit that Lego has drilled into now, of the life-size replications of existing things, but like 10 times more expensive than what it would be in real life. Like, so I'm sure this shoe is going to be, well, actually, I don't know which model it is, so I don't know how much, because shoes could be very expensive. So maybe this will be about the same price of a regular shoe, but like the flowers, the botanical flowers, the typewriter, the piano, okay, that one shrunk down. But this like real life version, like Lego replicas of real life objects, and they seem to be doing well. They don't interest me at all, but
I mean, maybe it'll be fun to build. Like the Venom bust and the Carnage bust are fun to build, but the difference is that's a fictional thing. It's imaginative. This is just a real life shoe you could go get and display.
Like, do you want this at work? Like, if you're a big Adidas fan, you just put this on your desk? Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I see the appeal, but for me, nope. I'm going to talk trash. And
like, if this was a Nike Air Force One, would you build that and display it proudly on your desk?
If it was Air Force One, that'd be cool. Jordan 1 high.
Yeah.
That'd be the best set. They could do a Jordan 1 just set, but you can customize it to be Jordan 1 mid or low. Also, you can rebuild it. See, Nike would have been a better idea. I'm just joking. No, but this is just, I don't know. It's mainly not just because it's Adidas, but also I don't like the real life objects either. Like the typewriter, why? Piano, why?
Display.
I feel like the typewriter, piano, those kind of sets, world map, are marketed to like 80 to 90-year-olds in a way. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why.
I know of a lot of people who enjoy that, even our age,
Yeah, well, I have to voice my opinion, okay?
That's fine. Yeah.
Like, if you want to go to the Lego store, like, oh, it's the Lego typewriter. Yay! And then go build your Lego typewriter and have it on display. Have no minifigures. It's not fun. No, nothing. Be my guest. But that's just how I feel. So I think it's the combination of I don't like real life items and I don't like Adidas. Okay, so I'm biased.
That's totally fair.
So, but on that note, do you have anything positive to say to end this off?
I'm very excited for E3 Nintendo Direct this Tuesday. Very awesome. I hope. I have very low expectations. No, I've let my expectations get way out of control. The whole Mario 35th anniversary being last year and Lego collabing, and then this year's Zelda's 35th anniversary. I'm like, please, because I love Legend of Zelda way more than Mario. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm ready to be so disappointed that nothing is ever going to happen with Zelda this year except for the Skyward Sword $60 remake. Well, re-release, not even a remake. So
I think they're going to announce Legend of Zelda Hyrule Castle Lego set and Calamity Ganon Lego set, and they're also gonna have a Super Smash Bros. Lego CMF with every Smash Bros. Character. It'll be like a couple of waves. They'll start with Nintendo 64, Melee, so we'll get all the minifigures: Simon Belmont, Luigi, Joker. It'll be really fun. It's gonna sell really well. Like there'll be a lot of licensing with all the different companies, but like Solid Snake minifigure, that'd be cool, right? Like I think it's happening for sure.
I don't know. No one ever thought of that before. It's a guarantee at this point. 2 more days, we'll know for sure. Well, like 1414 Falcon fan will probably post tomorrow, like the leak.
Yeah, probably, definitely. And then that's just kind of leading into the Doom and Castlevania Legos a little bit later. So
I don't know why Lego doesn't hire you off the spot right now. Wow, your fortune telling skills are impeccable.
What can I say? But maybe Zelda Lego, that would be cool. Or a Mario minifigure. Cool. Just one Mario minifigure.
It's a pipe dream, but it'll be like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, like $500 on Bricklink or something to get a Mario Link minifig. And that's all they'll do.
Okay, this is my final note. This is my final prediction.
Okay.
Mario mini dolls. It's like It's a Friends collab with Super Mario. So it's mini dolls for Peach and Daisy, Mario, Luigi.
Oh my gosh!
It's happening.
That's the one thing that'll make Lego fans more mad than just like having the Mario playable big block thing to have them as mini dolls. So nothing against mini dolls, but like the fact that it's not a mini figure that I know everybody wants. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That would be funny.
Anyways, that will be our Sakuga cast for today, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thanks for listening, and have an amazing week, and don't get your hopes up for E3 either.
Yep.
And this will age very poorly. Have a good week.